Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a Wednesday episode of the Geeks 5 podcast. I am your host, the man with the most chaotic panelist and podcast host in all of Texas. The one, the only, notorious, the infamous, the trailblazing, eyebrow raising, hell bringing, hell raising. Did I already say that? Captain Mexico, also known as King Mexico. What is going on, everybody? Today's a very special episode of the Geeks 5 podcast. It's going to be an open invite today. We are doing open invite. Wow, I'm on time for once. I actually started on time today. So who knew, right? I don't have a co-host today, so we are doing open invite to talk about the things that a lot of people refuse are to talk about or refuse to acknowledge are just, there are just some things that people just flat out ignore. So we're going to talk about some of those things today. We're going to talk about Japan's actual issues, actual things that are wrong with the country that include sexual assaults and lolicon, shotacon, RCP. We're going to talk about all those things today. Don't have a skinny. This is a Wednesday episode. We don't normally do the skinny, but allow me a second to share this video to get some people to come watch the show. I got to share it. How's everyone doing today? It is Wednesday. One Up Definitive Studios first. So close yet so far. Almost first comment. Not quite. And let me post it one more time. Need an actual producer. There we go. It's all taken care of, all set. I'll be mainly listening after seeing on Instagram and motivate me to go back to a gym myself and be commenting a bit less. I will stop posting about the gym. I'm not about to lose my viewership, my ratings. I wanted to thank everybody for Monday's episode. Monday's episode was super long. It was a supersized podcast, supersized with fries episode of the Geeks podcast. It was an amazing episode. I appreciate everyone so much. Uh, since Colossal Con, we are now at 619 booyaka booyaka 619 hey booyaka. Sorry, 619. Ray Mysterio would be proud. 619 subscribers on YouTube. The road to 1,000 subscribers. Dog, please chill. My dog's here. He's licking me. And 619. The road to 1K is, it could happen this year. Maybe we'll see. And we are at 804 followers on Instagram. We were at 805. We lost one. I guess we must piss somebody off with some of our comments, or the fact that we are talking trash about Japan, the holy land for a lot of these weebs. That's right. A lot of weeaboos consider Japan the holy land. They could do no wrong. There is nothing wrong in Japan. Everything is okay. Everything is fine. Everything. There is no war in Ba Sing Se. But we all know, without a shot of a doubt, that is not the case. There are things going on in Japan that just aren't right. And we are going to talk about them. And yeah. So let me go ahead and pull up the history of. All right. So before we start talking about it, uh This is an article from the University of Oregon Scholars Bank. This was lolicon and its effects on Japanese history. So it says abstract hypersexualization of minors and a continuous problem prevalent in Japan. It's this particular brand of hypersexualization is known as lolicon, which is the attraction of prepubescent girls, particularly in anime and manga. Historically, it is derived from the 1955 novel title Lolita, which depicts the middle-aged man's dark obsession with a young girl. But lolicon didn't become a recognized genre until the 1970s when fan artists depicted their favorite female characters of the time as underage girls. There is still ongoing debate within Japanese society about this harmful effects, some dubbing it as a sickness, while other individuals find no problem with continuing the practice. Regardless, it is still incredibly easy to find openly in Japan, with convenience stores selling magazines containing lolicon imagery. Utilizing academic research, we will showcase how this problem is influencing normalizing the attraction to underage girls. We will discuss the impact local and globally on the acceptance and societal effects of lolicon, as well as steps taken to combat its influence in Japan. It is a one PDF. Let me go ahead and view it, open it. Oh, it's an MP4. Oh, here we go. Here's the PDF. All right. So let me see if I can share this with y'all so y'all can see it. It's like a PDF file. It looks like a high school history fair project, honestly. So the introduction is lolicon is the attraction to prepubescent girls, particularly in anime manga. What is lolicon's effect on Japanese society? Methods utilizing academic research. We will showcase how this problem is influencing and normalizing the attraction to underage girls. We will discuss the impact, local and globally, on acceptance of and societal effects of lolicon, as well as the steps taken to combat its influence in Japan. Results one: arguments to ban. Leads to sexual abuse of children, may be harmful to children who read it. It is explicit and technically outlawed by Japanese law. Arguments not to ban. Censorship violates freedom of speech, might lead to further restrictions of speech. Less harmful proxy for abuse of children. Explicit manga anime can educate children about sexual matters. Results two: include lolicon is very much a part of the mainstream media in Japan. Why? Mostly due to Japan's fascination with youth as a standard of beauty. Connection to the lack of sex ed, Japanese law when it comes to child pornography. Japan outlawed the production and distribution of images of sexual abuse of children in 1999. Japan's police agency reported 1,644 offenses in 2013, more than any year since 1999 law came into force. In June of 2014, Japan banned possession of real images of child sexual abuse. People were given 1 year to comply. So I was mistaken. I thought it was 2 years to comply. It was 1 year. Since there is little to no work being done to prevent lolicon's presence in Japan society, it is very easy for minors to acquire child pornography in cartoon form, even in the convenience stores. Simultaneously, popularizing, lolicon is a message to girls that they are objects to consumer consumption, and that their youth and innocence, especially, is desirable in a sexual setting. These references are just looking Tantanization, Lolicon, and Virtual Girls by Sherry Savage. Manga, Virtual Child Pornography and Censorship in Japan by Chris Matthews. Acknowledgement. So, a year is plenty of time to give up your that stuff. The creator of Roni Kenshin was caught with it. I don't know what year he was caught with it. Let me see what else we can find. So, and to kind of, we're going to talk a little bit about the Ministry of Otaku interview. Let me see. It's legal to possess lolicon in the United States. So this is Eisner. This is a website called the Federal Criminal Attorneys.com. Possession of lolicon. Let me go ahead and share this one. We shall discuss. Is it legal to possess lolicon in the United States? Lolicon, sometimes called lolly for short, is a controversial genre of anime or manga that features explicit sexual depictions of underage female characters. The male counterpart of lolicon is shotacon. The name lolicon is derived from the novel Lolita and is sometimes also used to refer to an adult who is sexually attracted to pre-adolescent females. While lolicon is prevalent in Japan, some people express confusion over the legality of it in the United States due to child pornography laws. Adults fully animate lolicon, and no real children are exploited in any way in the creation of it. Lolly is a Japanese manga or anime that is sexually explicit and involves underage cartoon characters. It's focused on sexualized characters and plots depicting underage girls. The name comes from the Vladimir Nabokov books, or something very Russian, called Lolita, where the adult male is sexually attracted to an underage girl. Lolly is the only Lolly is not only legal in Japan, it's pretty common but has been controversial. So the question is whether possessing lolicon in the United States is legal. The answer is no, as a result of the Protect Act of 2003. Lolicon meets the federal criteria for child pornography. If you are caught in possession of lolicon or shotacon, you could face federal criminal charges and significant prison time if convicted. Possessing lolly is illegal under the federal law if the anime depiction of an underage person is obscene and it was transmitted through the mail, internet, or common carrier or transported across state lines, or there is proof there was an intent to distribute or sell it. Notably, simple possession of lolly is not illegal under federal laws unless you possess a large amount of it, which prosecutors could allege you have the intent to sell or distribute. Unless you created the lolly images yourselves, federal prosecutors would not have difficulty proving that you received lolly over the internet or through the mail. So, what is the controversy behind lolicon? The controversy surrounding lolicon is deeply rooted in the societal implications and ethical debates, particularly in the Western culture. Critics argue that lolicon normalizes and uh, perpetuates the sexualization of minors and contributing to a culture that trivializes child exploitation. They contend that such materials blur the lines between fictional and reality, potentially encouraging harmful behaviors. Defenders conversely assert that lolicon is merely a form of artistic expression protected under the freedom of speech. They argue that an outright ban infringes individual rights and disregards cultural nuances. States and countries have taken different approaches to address lolly materials and manga. Some criminalized it as pedophilia, while others are reluctant to infringe on freedom of expression. Federal laws strictly prohibit the possession of child pornography, which include any obscene images that appear to depict an identifiable minor. As noted above, the Protect Act of 2003 gives federal prosecutors a tool to combat the exploitation of children. The Protect Act was passed after the Supreme Court ruled that virtual child pornography was protected under the First Amendment's free speech rights if it was not obscene. A crucial factor in their ruling was that because the pornography was not a visual depiction of an actual child, it was considered a victimless crime. What is the Protect Act and its implications? The Protect Act, as an acronym for the Prosecution, Remedies, and Other Tools to End the Exploitation of Children Today, was enacted in 2003 in response to the increasing concern over child exploitations and child pornography. It provides federal law enforcement with additional tools to prevent, investigate, and prosecute crimes against children, including the possession and distribution of child pornography. Under this act, child pornography includes real images of minors and any visual depictions that appear to be of a minor engaged in sexual explicit conduct. Under the definition, under this definition, lolicon is considered child pornography if it visually depicts an identifiable minor engaging in sexual explicit explicit conduct or appears to be visual depiction of in and an identifiable minor engaging in sexual explicit conduct. This would also explain why a lot of this shit they kind of leave out the ages of the individual. This expandable definition immediately criminalizes the possession of lolicon in the United States, even though no real children are involved in its creation. The enactment of the Protect Act has significantly changed the legal landscape concerning crimes against children in the U.S. Before the act, the legal approach towards child pornography and related materials was somewhat fragmented and inconsistent. With the introduction of the Protect Act, there is now a clear, unified, and stingent legal stance against child exploitations and related offenses. Uh, so it gets really legal. This is the author. He's a lawyer. Let me see. Let's also look up. Let me see if I can find the Wikipedia. So this is from Wikipedia. We're gonna skip the this part because it's something we've already kind of gone over. So the definition of lolicon is a Japanese abbreviation of the Lolita complex. Rorita con pure kokusu. I don't know. I can't read that shit. Um, so it was derived from Vladimir's novel Lolita, Introduction to Japanese to Japan, and Russell Taylor's The Lolita Complex in 1966, translated in 1969, a work of pop psychology in which is used to denote attraction to underage girls. In Japanese, the phrase was adopted to describe feelings of love and lust for young girls over adult women, which remains the term's common meaning. Due to due to its association with otaku culture, the term is more often used to describe desires for young or young-looking girl characters in manga or anime, which are generally understood to exist within fiction. However, the meaning of the term remains contested as it carries a connotation of pedophilia for much of the public. Lolicon also refers to works particularly sexually suggestive or erotic, which feature such characters and their fans. Lolicon is distinct from the words pedophilia and for child pornography. The meaning of and if it sounds like I just woke up, I kind of did, so I do apologize. The meaning of lolicon within the sorry, just checking the message. The meaning of lolicon within the otaku context developed in the early 1980s during the lolicon boom. I can't believe that's a fucking thing. In erotic manga, see history according to Akira Akagi. The meaning of lolicon moved away from the sexual pairing of an older man and a young girl, and instead came to describe desire for cuteness and girlness in manga and anime. Others define lolicon as a desire for cute things, manga like or anime like characters, roundness, and the two dimensional as opposed to real. At the time, all eroticism in manga style featuring Bushijo, which cute girl characters was associated with the term, and synonyms of Lolita complex, including two dimensional complex, Neijin, Kon Pirokotu, two dimensional fetishism. Fetishism. Najikon Feti. I don't even know if I said those right. Two dimensional syndrome. Cute girl syndrome. And simply sickness. Oh, well, they got that right. As characters' body types within the erotic manga became more varied by the end of the lolicon boom in 1984, the scope of the term narrowed to younger looking depictions. Lolicon became a keyword after the 1989 arrest of Su- Tsu- Tsutomo Miyazaki. Ooh, that's what he looks like. I didn't know. It was a Japanese serial killer who murdered four young girls in Tokyo and Saitama Prefecture between August 1988 and June 1989. I was born in August 1988. God, he abducted and killed the girls ages 4 to 7 in his car before dismembering them and molesting their corpses. Oh, I'm going to throw up. Ah. A serial killer of young girls who was portrayed by Japanese media as an otaku. Hmm. Oh, that's not good. As lolicon was conflated with pedophilia in the public debates of harmful manga, its meaning was replaced among otaku by mo. Mo, sometimes romanticized as moe, in Japanese word that refers to the feeling of strong affection mainly towards characters in anime, manga, video games, and other media depicted at the otaku market. Mo, however, has also gained usage to refer to feelings of attraction, which refers to the feelings of attraction for characters more generally like Mo. Lolicon is still used by many otaku to refer to the attraction, which is conspicuous, distinct from reality. Some otakus identify the two-dimensional lolicon to specify their attraction to characters. The term has become a keyword in criticism of manga and sexuality within Japan, as well as globally in the spread of the Japanese popular culture. So, the history behind it is that in 1970, shoujo manga marketed to girls underwent a renaissance in which artists such as those of the Year 24 group experimented with new narrative and styles and introduced themes such as psychology, gender, and sexuality. These developments attracted adult male fans of the shoujo manga who crossed gendered boundaries to produce and consume it. The first appearance of the term Lolita complex in manga was stumbling upon a Cabbage Patch, an Alice in Wonderland inspired work by Shinji Wada, published in 1974 issue of the shoujo manga magazine Basutsu Marget. Was also a male character called Lewis Carroll, a man with a strange character of liking only small children, in an inside joke to adult readers. Early lolicon artwork was influenced by male artists mimicking shoujo manga, as well as the erotic manga created by female artists to male readers. The image of the shoujo young girl rose to prominence in Japan mass media in 1970 as a symbol of cuteness, innocence, and idolized eros. Eros. Eros is a concept in ancient Greek philosophy referring to sensual or passionate love, from which the term erotic is derived. Eros has also been used in philosophy and psychology in a much wider sense, almost as equivalent to the life energy. The Protestant philosopher C.S. Don't get a chance to read the rest. So, attributes to which become attracted to imagery of young girls over time. Nude photographs of shoujo conceived as fine art. Uh, I'm not going to read the definition for fine art because we should all know what that means. Gained popularity. A photo collection titled Nymphet, The Myth of the 12-Year-Old was published in 1969. In 1972 and 1973, there was an Alice boom in nude photos themed around Alice in Wonderland. Specialty adult magazines carrying nude photos, fiction, essays on the appeal of young girls emerged in the 1980s. This trend faded in the late 1980s due to backlash and because many men preferred images of shoujo in manga and anime to spread such imagery both in photographs and in manga. They had been helped by prohibitions displaying public under Japan's obscenity laws. So the 1970s to the 1980s. The rise of lolicon as a genre began in a comic market, a convention for sale of doshinshi, self-published works. Dojinshi. Dojinshi is the Japanese term for self-published print works such as magazines, manga, and novels, part of the wire category dojin, self-published works. Dojinshi are often deprivative. I'm sorry if I couldn't read that. Of existing works and created by amateurs through some professional. All right. So, a convention for the state of Dojinshi, founded in 1975 by adult male fans of shoujo manga. In 1979, a group of male artists published the first issue to fan sign, which it's a non-professional and non-official publication produced by enthusiasts of a particular cultural phenomenon for the pleasure of others who share their interest. Term was coined in the October 1940 science fiction fanzine of Russ Covenant, the first publicized with science fiction. Uh, it's a Cybele is a standout creator who Hideo Suma was a Japanese manga artist who made his professional debut in 1969 in the Akita Shoten manga magazine Manga O. He was the most well known for his science fiction lolicon themed works appearing in magazines such as the Weekly Shonen Champion. Hideo, who is also known as the father of lolicon prior to Cybele, was the dominant style in shinin, marketed to men, and pornographic manga. Hentai was Geekiga in the style of Japanese comics aimed at an adult audience, marketed by more cinematic art style and more mature themes. Geekiga was the predominant style of adult comics in Japan in the 1960s and 1970s. It is aesthetically defined by sharp angles, dark hatchings, and gritty lines. This was characterized by realism, sharp angles, and dark hatchings and gritty line work. Asuma's manga in contrast displayed light stand shading and clean circular lines, which were viewed as thoroughly erotic and sharing with shoujo manga the lack of reality. Asuma's combination of the stout bodies of Asumu Tezuka's work, who is also a Japanese manga artist and cartoonist, and their emotive faces of shoujo manga mark the advent of the bishijo and the aesthetic of the cute eroticism kawaii era. Kawaii, cute or adorable, is the Japanese cultural phenomenon which emphasizes cuteness, childlike innocence, charm, and simply kawaii culture began to flourish in the 1970s, driven by youth culture, and is the rise of the cute characters in manga and anime. They show some little teapots. Those are kind of adorable. While erotic, lolicon manga was initially mainly viewed as humorous and parodic, but a large fan base soon grew in response to the alternative pornographic ginkiga that is represented. Erotic manga began to move away from combining realistic bodies and cartoony faces towards a woolly, unrealistic style. Lolicon manga played a role in attracting male fans to Kami Kits, whose participants were 90% female in 1975. By 1981, the proportion of male and female participants was equal. Lolicon manga, mostly created by and for men, served as a response to yaoi manga. Uh, Yaoi, for those of you that don't know, boys love, also known as by abbreviation of BL, is a genre of fictional media originating in Japan that features homoerotic relationships between male characters, typically created by women for the female audience, and is thus distinct uh from. I want to read the rest, but I don't want to cut it off, so I'm just going to stop there. So the response to yaoi manga featuring male homoeroticism, mostly created by and for women. The early 1980s saw a lolicon boom, the professional amateur art. The popularity of lolicon within the otaku community attracted the attention of publishers who founded specialty publications dedicated to the genre, such as Lemon People. Lemon People was an adult lolicon in Bushijo manga magazine published by Amatsu. It was published by Amat Risha from February 1982 to November 1998 in Japan. The first issue had some gravure idol photographs, but the format of the magazine quickly switched all the manga by the eighth issue. And Manga Burikiko was a lolicon hentai magazine published by Byakuya Shobo in Tokyo from 1982 to 1985. In Japan, the magazine was launched as a competitor to Limit People, but it's only lasted 3 years. The manga in the magazine were generally Bushijo and Lolita manga. So these were both in 1982. Other magazines of the boom included Manga Hot Milk and Melon Comic and Ha Flirter. The genre's rise was close linked to the concurrent development of otaku culture and growing fan con- consciousness. The word otaku itself was coined in Buriko in 1983, originally founded as an unprofitable Ginkiga magazine. The publication was transformed into a lolicon magazine by 1983. Jesus, this goes into like the history of like lolicon, the competitiveness, every fucking thing. I might just dedicate like an entire like a Geeks Forever history video on all this because there's so much fucking. I didn't think it went this far. Here's the look, legality. Child pornography laws in some countries, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, have expanded since the 1980s to include sexually explicit depiction of fictional characters. Uh, while those in other countries, including Japan, exclude fiction from relevant definitions. In 1999, Japan passed a national law criminalizing the production and distribution of child pornography. So they criminalized production and distribution of child pornography in 1999. But however, you notice that they didn't include possession. The law's original draft included depictions of fictional characters and the definition of child pornography. After criticism from many in Japan, this text was removed in the final version. So that means uh, they were going to include it to where it would include lolicon. But people in Japan, probably mostly men, criticized it. So in 2014, Japan's parliament amended the 1999 law to criminalize possession of child pornography. The 2013 draft introduced by the Liberal Democratic Party. So somebody's going to make a comment. Damn liberals. Which maintained the existing legal definition, including a provision for the government investigation on whether manga, anime, and computer generated images similar to child pornography were connected to child sexual abuse, which would be followed by a later decision on regulation. This provision was opposed to manga related organizations, including the Japanese Cartoonists Association, which argued that regulation would infringe upon freedom of expression and negatively impact the industry. The provision was removed from the final version of the law, which took effect in 2015. Lolicon media is common target of local ordinances in Japan, which restrict distribution of materials designated harmful to the healthy development of the youth, which were strengthened throughout the 1990s and 2000s. An amendment proposed in 2010 to the Tokyo law on material banned from sale to minors, distributed by Vice Governor Nokoi Inose, is targeting non-pornographic lolicon manga, writing that we had regulation of ero manga, not for lolicon. Restricted depictions of non-existent youths who appear under the age of 18 were portrayed in antisocial sexual situations. After heavy opposition from manga creators, academics, and fans, the bill was rejected in June 2010 by the Tokyo Metropolitan Assembly. However, a new revision passed in December 2010, which restricts manga, anime, and computer games where any characters engage in sexual or uh, I'm sorry, can't say that one. Sexual acts that would be illegal in real life, depicted in a way that glorifies or exaggerates such acts. In 2011, several manga were listed as for restriction, including Okosama wa Shogokutsu. My wife is an elementary student. Jesus. People read this shit. Doesn't exist anymore. It was published online by J. Kami Manga Library Z before 2018, known as J. Kami, is a Japanese website that distributes out of print manga and doujinshi as DRM free ebooks with the permission of the authors and supported by advertising. J. Kami is limited to out of print titles so that the quality of the work is assured and that Okay, so it's published to avoiding the restrictions. Sexual depiction of young girls' characters has also been subject to censorship and restriction outside of Japan. In 2006, North American publisher Seven Seas Entertainment licensed the manga series Kodomo no Jikan for release under the title Nine Fet, but canceled its plans in 2007 after vendor cancellations. In the statement, the company stated that the manga cannot be considered appropriate for the US market and by any reasonable standard. In 2020, Australian Senator Sterling Griff criticized the Australian Classification Board for giving ratings to manga and anime depicting child exploitation and called for a review of the classification regulations. Later that year, the board banned the import and sale of 3 volumes of the light novel series No Game, No Life. No Game, No Life is a Japanese light novel series by Yu Kamiya. It is published under MF. Oh, I have a guest. I have a co-host today.
That's his Instagram.
What up? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, but he's.
Yay. I have someone to talk to instead of myself.
As long as it's doing with one, that's
See
all I
here.
care about.
So I'm just gonna finish this real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
So
I'm
the
still
light
getting set up.
novels. So the light novel series, under the MF Bunko J imprints with 12 novels released between April 25th, 2012 and February 25th, 2023. The author and his wife, Mashiro Haragi, adapted the novels into a manga series for it doesn't say the rest of it. I got to click on it, which I don't want to do. For the sexual depiction of young characters, some online platforms, including Discord. If you don't know what Discord is, Google, Reddit, and Twitter ban lolicon content. So I'm kind of just going over, like, there's J Kami, and like they had J Kami was producing I don't know if you heard this part, but they were releasing a series written called Oku-sama wo Shoga whatever. My wife is an elementary student, is what it stands for.
I didn't hear you talk about it, but someone mentioned it at Delta.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah. I don't. That's the extent of my knowledge on it.
I've heard of one of the ones listed on here, No Game, No Life.
I've
I
seen the
don't
first season.
I don't. It's an anime.
Mm-hmm. I think it has a movie too.
What the fuck? Holy shit! It is a fucking anime. But is it the same anime? Yes, it is.
Yeah, I mean it's got Shiro is the little lolly on the front there.
Wait, I saw this. Somebody was talking about this. Like, No Game, No Life. No Gemo, No Rifle. It's a Japanese light novel series by Yu Kamiya. It's published under the MF Bunko J imprint with 12 novels released from April 25th, 2012 to February 25th, 2023. The author and his wife, Mashiro Hiragi, adapted the novel into a manga series for the monthly comic Alive in 2013. Later that year, an anime adaptation of No Game, No Life by Madhouse was announced. It premiered on ATX. If you don't know what ATX is, it's a Japanese anime television network owned by AT-X Incorporation. It was founded on June 26, 2000 as a subsidiary of the TV Tokyo Media Net, which is owned by TV Tokyo. Its headquarters are in. Well, give a shit about the rest.
I thought ATX
This was
was
done
Austin,
between
Texas.
April and July of 2014. It was a simulcast outside Japan by Crunchyroll. An anime film adaptation of the 6-volume No Game, No Life premiered in July 15, 2017. A spin-off manga, No Game, No Life, please focusing on the character Isuna, ran from May 27, 2015 to November 27, 2017. No Game, No Life franchise was localized in North America by several companies. Seven Seas Entertainment licensed the manga, and Sentai Filmworks the anime, and Yen Press the light novel series. The series follows Sora and his younger stepsister Shiru, two What the fuck is hikikomori? Known as the seven social withdrawal, a total withdrawal from society and seeking extreme degrees of social isolation and confinement. Hikikomori refers to both the phenomenon in general, and the recluses themselves described as loners or modern day hermits. So these two are hikikomori, or I don't know if I even said that right, who make up the identity of blank and undefeated group of gamers. One day they are challenged by a god of games to chess and are victorious. As a result, the god summons them to this board, a world where stealing, war, and killing are forbidden, and all the matters are decided through games, including national borders and even people's lives, intent on maintaining their reputation as the undefeated gamers. Sora and Shiru
Say
plan to conquer Shiru? What was it? Oh, plan to conquer the 16 ruling species in Osurap, the god. This I don't know, the god of games. The series began. Uh, is it? Is it?
So before we got on the no game, no life, you were talking about the what is it? Is it the if my wife becomes an elementary school student?
It's called. Give me a second. It's. I just fucking lost it. Okay, my wife is an elementary student.
I think my internet's given up on me. I can't.
The internet don't want you looking it up.
Can't
Like, don't be
hear
looking up that
nada.
bullshit.
Hey, it turns out if we're talking about the same thing, there is a
Oh no, the government got to him. There he goes.
series live action.
Okay, okay. So you the last thing you said that we heard was if we're talking about the same thing, and then you got kicked off.
Oh, well, yeah. If my wife becomes an elementary school student was a live action drama from 2022. If that's the same thing.
It might be like an inspiration, but the name of the manga is called My Life is an Elementary Student.
Okay. And then anime of the same thing.
The manga itself is is the full title my wife is an elementary school student and I'm going to prison. Maybe it's on J-Comi, like it's a manga, it's a website that publishes restricted manga.
Let's see.
Isn't No Game No Life that weird anime where they're kind of like in love with each other?
Yeah, they're a bit too much into each other.
Well, that's fucking gross.
I mean, there's other ones that are they're more into each other, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, like what's his face? The guy with Tourette's that says, I don't know. Like the guy that was on the video for like the statue of Satan where he's like, notice me, senpai, notice me. You know who I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
I don't know that one. I was thinking of Orimo. Because Orimo is where's the full title for it? Hold on.
Okay, he was known for a while. He got his own. He's. Oh, here it is. This is funny. Here, let me.
Comics in Hollywood to talk to local comic fans and find out what's in the bag. So what's in the bag?
I got a Deadpool comic.
Why Deadpool?
I just saw the movie.
Oh, this is a full
and
video.
It's been a while since I bought a comic, so I figured to come get some.
What's in the bag?
Oh, I got Hellcat #4.
What is your favorite thing about Hellcat?
I love the writer Kate Leth. I've been following her storyline.
I love Black Canary. Hey there, what's in the bag?
That guy.
Huh? I'm from Geek TV, and today we're talking to local comic fans and finding out what they're purchasing. So what's in the bag?
It's called Brother Sister.
That's
Can you hear it?
awesome. And what is that about? Like a brother sister crime fighting duo?
It's about a brother and a sister that fuck.
They what?
They fuck each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy.
I don't
was
know.
looking-
I'm not sure if the one he's holding is an actual manga, but if it's not, it's probably based off the one I was just talking about. I don't remember the full title of it, but it's something like My Little Sister Can't Be That Cute. It's about a 17-year-old who falls in love with his 14-year-old little sister.
What?
Mm-hmm.
So according to the comment section, it's you see the fact that it's about two siblings that fight against the taboos of modern society. Wait, no, that sounds made up. That might be made up. Okay, so the dude gotta be okay. So the guy is an actor. Like it's all like that was staged. I'm trying to find out what the actual manga is about. Somebody said when he said brother sister, I lost my shit. I was done.
In front of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links.
Really? Was it in front of? So the comment section say, my favorite part is that he definitely looks like there was more books in the bag, implying he specifically chose this book because it was the tamest one in the bag. You could see the fear in his eyes when she asked him what's in the bag. The fact that many people, myself included, at first think this is real is a testament to this guy's acting. So obviously, it's fake. The guy's an actor.
Yeah, he looks familiar. I've seen him on other sketches, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. He's done like the one that I remember mostly is the Satan statue one. I watched this. Okay, a crime. Okay, somebody says a crime fighting duo. I mean, they do wrestle. Does that count? Crime brother sister crime fighting duo hentai. We don't do that here. When he said it's called brother sister, I was done. Then he puts like 3 skull emojis. Damn, I was kind of hoping he hit them with the quirk. I don't know. It's the tremble in his voice when he says "fuck."
So
It kills
it's
me.
not mine.
The FBI wants to know that guy's mom's basement location. I mean, we've kind of gone over. There is a big argument to be made about lolicon, right? Obviously, we are on the fence that why the fuck does it even exist? But even then, like the idol culture could be attributed to lolicon culture, right? Because they use it as cuteness, innocence, whatever. Because have you noticed a lot of idols in Japan are usually like teens,
Oh yeah,
young girls.
as from the little I know about idol culture, I'm pretty sure they age out of it pretty quickly. Isn't there a specific type of idol that are younger? I want to say I
Yes,
heard
there
that
is.
somewhere.
It was actually on the podcast we talked about. It was called Super Idol, which are even younger, Japanese idol. So an idol is a type of entertainer marketed for image, attractiveness, and personality in Japan. Japanese pop culture, idols are primarily singers with training and other performances skills such as acting, dancing, modeling. Idols are commercialized through merchandise and endorsements by talent agencies while maintaining a parasocial relationship with financially loyal consumers of the fan base. Roles in training, public image, or scenes of personalized image can sometimes be tightly controlled by the talent agencies. Common restrictions will not be allowed to smoke, drink in public, or pursue romantic relationships. Retirements. So idols are typically expected to change after aging out of the industry, with female idols typically changing careers at age 25 and male idols at 30 to 45. Idols who leave the group are often given farewell concerts known as graduations. The term originated from the idol group or Yoko Club, as the group's useful concept drew similarities after an after-school club. So, like for females, they are aged out at around 25.
I mean, at least they make it to 25. Not like they're like, all right, you're 16, gotta go.
Right? I mean, well, I guess it just depends on how you age, your look, your performances, like how long you can keep up the illusion.
Yeah, are you familiar with Oshinoko?
Mm-mm.
I probably said that wrong. It was real big a couple years ago, last year. I don't know, but last year. Uh, Basically, it's about an idol who got into a lot of idol trouble and had to hide a pregnancy at 16. Is how it starts.
What the fuck? By the way, I found the junior idol thing. Junior idol, also known as chado or low teen idol, is a type of entertainer under the age of 18 or 16 who are manufactured and marketed for their image, attractiveness, and personality. It is a subcategory of the idol culture in Japanese pop entertainment. Junior idols are, let me see. It doesn't let me read the rest. The fall. Okay, so because it's under the sexualization of idols, right?
Mhm.
So they do. Idols are often sexualized, especially female idols. Some of whom work as Revore idols and have suggestive swimsuit photo shoots that are published in magazines targeted towards adults. With the idol system commodifying youth, the industry is criticized for putting minors at risk, most particularly junior idols who are aged 15 years and younger. Idol swimsuit photo books are often sold in the same sections as pornographic titles. In 1999, Japan banned the production and distribution of sexually explicit depictions of minors, which outlawed photo books depicting nude junior idols. So, wait, hold on. They did nude photo shoots prior to 1999?
In the same place as pornographic material.
Yeah. Multiple junior idol distributors closed after possession of child pornography was made illegal in Japan in 2014.
2014, the Child Pornography Prohibit Act. Words are hard.
However, junior idol content currently stands on legality and ambiguous ground due to open interpretations of child pornography laws in Japan. Uh,
Yeah, there's some links at the bottom of this I am not clicking on. Like you had said, gravure idol, then child modeling, followed by the phrase child erotica.
so in 2017, through a survey conducted by the Japanese government, 53 out of 197 women contracted with talent agencies stated that they had been asked to take part in pornographic photo or video shoots, which were not previously disclosed nor included in their contracts. 17 of the women stated that they had performed the request anyway. The to kind of, and I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for this because we are in a fucking. So here's the thing: we are going to start like addressing the whole Ministry of Otaku interview because he did specifically state in the podcast that, because I asked him, do you think lolicon and shotacon leads like is considered you know, or I don't know what I said, but I asked him like, do you think pedophiles or is it like pedophilia to fetishize lolicon shotacon? He says absolutely not, and that it's they're not real, that pedophiles have no interest in that kind of media, which is absolutely not true, right? Your Highness wants to get on. I got you. I'm gonna send it to you on Lay Instagram, yo.
I'm glad you knew what link he was asking about because of all the stuff that we've been reading, it's a little sus to be asking for links.
Nah, Your Highness is pretty. He's got he's got a lot to say. That's why I always invite him.
Oh, sweet.
I think he likes. I think he likes older chicks anyway. Like when I say older, I mean older than him.
Same.
Yeah, it's. I sent you the link. So he specifically stated that they're not interested in that kind of media, and I don't think that's true. Like you guys complimented me on keep maintaining my composure during that interview.
Yeah,
Thank you for
It was
that.
very well done.
It took a lot to keep my shit together during that fucking interview. Because I get it, like, bro, like I talked to him, I saw him at Colossal Con. Okay, so we're about to go into some like behind the stage shit, guys. Right? We're about to talk about a lot of things that I have not actually talked about. I think Ministry of Otaku, and I agree, geek cred.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I saw him at Colossal Con, and he was by himself the whole weekend. And when I say the whole weekend, I mean the whole weekend. Even at Rave at the Waves, where I went to Rave at the Waves by myself, and I still hung out with a group of people. I went and I ran into people I knew, and I hung out with them. And I went by myself with the intention of being by myself.
Your natural magnetism would not allow that.
That's right. Yeah, they're like, oh, Mexicans. He probably brought cerveza and tacos. No, anyways, so I saw him there. He was by himself, and we were kind of talking, and then I ran into my friends, and then he's like, he kind of followed me for like a few minutes, and then he's like, oh, well, I see you're busy. I guess I'll talk to you later. I was like, oh yeah, no, definitely, man. Just we'll talk more about it later. You know, just answer your messages on Twitter, and then we'll set up the interview. But like, it was kind of sad to see him by himself. Like, it was. I don't know if he has a lot of friends, and people rely on their friends to kind of, you know, like, hey, do you think this is right? Do you think this is okay? What should I do? You think that person is interested? I saw him at Anime Matsuri. He talked to himself a lot. So I don't think he has an understanding of social cues and social norms, right? And he goes based off of like a general. It could be some of his opinions are probably bad because he goes with like it feels like he's very influential, and that's why I think that he has a misunderstanding of. People are quick to kind of like demonize him and reject him. I think he needs help. I think he needs friends. I think he needs people to teach him right and wrong. I believe that Ministry of Otaku can be helped. Now, Ministry of Otaku is a lot older than I expected. I think 30s. I think he's in his 30s. So he's kind of already set in his ways, but he can be helped.
Nah, yeah. I mean, very rare cases anyone's beyond, reason.
Mm-hmm. If he had been just a tad bit older, like maybe 40s, 50s, like I'm not talking about like early 40s, I'm talking about like late 40s, 50s, it might be a little bit more difficult. But um, I think that if he had friends, and he does rub people the wrong way, I will admit it. With the Tifa cosplayer, the first thing he said to her was "boo," or at least that's the first thing we saw in the
Yeah.
video. He booed her. It's like, are you trying to start a fight? Are you looking for a fight? And in the interview, he's like, oh, I wasn't threatening her. I was trying to like express to her, like, hey, that sign is going to make somebody want to hit you. And I'm like, it doesn't appear like that in the
Oh, yeah.
video.
Like you watch the video, you're like, no, he's trying to literally pick a fight, but then you hear him talk about it and pay attention to the way he talks about other things, like social cues and whatnot. It's like, oh yeah, he was not trying to pick a fight. He was warning her more or less.
Mm-hmm. Joining, we have another guest. He is a future AEW competitive wrestler. He will be working for Tony Clown for $500,000 a year, sitting at catering or sitting at home.
Dang.
It's a joke because we watch AEW.
Yeah.
All right, joining us is Your Highness. Welcome.
What's up, man?
So I'm guessing you have something to say.
Yeah. So because it's weird because Clint, you were saying that he was just giving the girl a warning, right, with the video.
That's what it came off to, yeah.
So my issue with that is he can say that's how it came off, but it's like, I'm sorry, whether it's Texas, New York, DC, or California, if someone says you want to fight with that sign, that means it sounds very confrontational. And if the guy she was with was any other person, any other type of guy who was already bigger than him, they would have already thrown hands. Like you would have got walked up on, and it would have been a situation.
Oh yeah, I could see that turning hostile real quick.
Yeah, like people don't realize that like when you say a certain thing to people, there's certain consequences. And I don't think you realize that. No, when you say you want to fight, it comes off like that.
Yeah,
I think they were avoiding confrontation though, because if you met Ministry of Otaku, he has a big fucking camera on his glasses.
Yes,
it's huge. It's not like it's probably the size of this Power Ranger figure, and it's like right there on the side of his face.
It's a scouter.
That camera. Yeah.
Because he has two cameras. He has the cam glass, he has the cam camera, and he has his body cam.
Yeah.
So he records a lot of his interactions during the day on two separate cameras. And he's the one that released that video.
He thought it would paint him in a good light.
And it didn't, because for one, he harassed that cosplayer. Even if you don't agree with their statement. Like, I think he was in the wrong. Like, he shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have approached her. Obviously, she knew what she was doing. She knew it was going to cause problems. It was going to raise a ruckus. Yeah. She knew what she was getting into, because that is a very hot subject. It doesn't matter who or what talks about. And he even like demonized the whole argument during the show. Well, people are always quick to talk about lolicon, but no one ever talks about shotacon. Like, that's not true. We talked about it on this show. We demonized it as well. And that's also a big thing in the community, because there was somebody in the community, I don't know their name, but I know who they are. They were 30 at the time, and they did sexual misconduct, or whatever you want to call it, with somebody that was 15 at the time. It was a 30-something-year-old female who messed around with a 15-year-old male. and this was 2009 when like a lot of people like didn't really give a shit because like
There's,
it's a dude, it's a dude. Yeah, it's a
there's been a
dude.
double standard for that for years.
Well,
Yes.
I think also the issue is it's like, especially with mainstream otaku, it's hey, he has that small mindset of I like this thing. I like going to these anime conventions because he's also under the belief that anime conventions are in danger and all that bullshit. And if this thing gets out that this person's a POS, whether it's a con owner or a certain someone doing this or an attendee doing that or a guest doing this to a person, they're gonna feel like, oh, it's gonna give the con bad publicity or it's gonna give anime conventions bad publicity, and we're all gonna lose it, and our fun thing won't be here anymore. And it's like, no, we have to grow up and learn how to get the toxic people out or investigate this instead of trying to push it down or whatever. I think that's what he's not realizing.
Right.
Yeah,
There's a lot more like that he said that was very controversial that legitimately pissed off a lot of people. The amount of messages I got during the show telling me the guy's wrong. The guy's full of shit. I wish I was there so I could tell him off. I wish I was there so I could punch him. I wish I was there so I could like shove a hot dog down his throat. Who the fuck?
that could
He's
be
not.
taken multiple ways, though. You know.
Yeah, it's either is that a sex thing? Is that a Sonic the Hedgehog thing? Like, where are we going with this? Uh, I hope he can help and get himself some friends. It's not the I'm not the best at social cues myself, but some of the things he says and how he said them are questionable at best. Bitch, shut up. You hang out with us all the time. You're a cool dude. You're fucking tall though. Like, and I'm not even short, and I have to look up. This guy's like 9 foot.
Damn.
Given what he's done, he's not that tall. I'm exaggerating, but given what he does, it makes sense he would have a mental disability. Was that involving an underage voice actor? No. The Are you talking about the 15-year-old? No, no, because the guy still brags about it today.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
The guy brags about it,
okay.
and this was like 10 years ago. He's like in his mid-20s, late 20s. Like to him, it's not an issue. But I mean, the
Got
ministry was
Andre
talking.
in the chat.
Wait, what?
Anybody want a peanut? Got
Peanut?
Andre in the chat.
Oh, um, so he said some things about Vic that people found controversial. He said some things about John Lay that people found controversial. Like
Yes.
John was joking. He said a joke, made a joke to somebody he considered a friend, and they took it the wrong way. They found it offensive, and I don't know if he used the word overreacted, but I felt like he did. Like he either said it or imagined that he said it. But I felt like he said they overreacted, which is bullshit because for one, that was a guest. That was an anime Matsuri guest that he emailed. Have you ever experienced a real orgasm? I'm not the smartest person in the world, but that sounds like he's coming onto them sexually.
Yeah.
At least a little. Yeah.
Like, hey, have you ever experienced a real orgasm? Like
It's not a normal message.
would you say that to one of your friends that's a guy or girl? Like, hey, without it like being some kind of way to like as a joke. Does that even sound like a joke to you?
That just sounds like a
That sounds like a
crass.
pickup line.
Yes, I was gonna say very crass pickup line you hear in a club.
Be honest, I've probably made a similar joke back in like high school, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I get you. I understand. It's
Yeah.
juvenile. It's
It is a very juvenile joke. That actually is something you would probably hear from a teenager, from a little 14-year-old, little shit that just hit puberty. Like, you ever experience a real orgasm? He's talking to like the cashier at fucking HEV. And
Yeah.
the bitch is like, get out of here. Get the fuck out of here before I call the cops. And then he walks outside of the store with his friends, like, she totally wants me. That sounds like it came from a movie, actually. But your viewers were out for blood. They really were. Like, the thing is this: I tried to be professional because, for one, no one's actually ever talked to him. No one's ever gotten his side of the story, his point of view, right? No one's ever taken the time to like listen to what he has to say. Do I regret doing the interview? Yeah, I do. I do regret doing the interview. Do I regret? I don't regret letting him speak his mind. Like, I don't regret it, and at the same time, I do regret it. For one, it pissed off a lot of our audience. Like, I should have like shut him up during the show, but I wanted him to get his fucking 2 cents out. Could it have been handled better? Possibly.
Greek Geek Credit Trivia said you handled it very fair, very professional, very like legit journalism.
I mean, that was the intent. Like, that was my intention, but like, you can tell I got uncomfortable during the show.
No,
You could tell, like, I wanted to end it at the 1 hour mark. Because I even say during the show, okay, well, yeah, we're coming up to the first hour. We're coming up to 1 hour. The show, we're gonna be ending the show at the 1 hour mark. And the guy, he's like all sad and shit, like, oh, I got nowhere to go. I got nothing to do. I got no one around here. I was like, fuck.
got nothing but time.
Got nothing but time. It's pretty much. And as you watch the show, you realize that he doesn't really hang out with anybody. No one's invited them to be on his show. And I can see why. He has very controversial fucking views of point, which could actually cause fucking problems. Do I agree with any of the statements he made? There's only one statement he made that I agree with, and I understand where he's coming from. And it was about the whole being in a public setting with the cameras. Like, when you're in a public setting, people are going to capture images of you without you realizing they have. Like, there are images of me for convention websites, and I'm a fat fuck in those pictures. Like, I didn't consent to this shit.
I mean, people get recorded anytime they walk in front of my car.
Yeah.
People get recorded. If you live in downtown Houston your entire life, 80% of your life out in public is on video file. You're going to be recorded in the public, whether you realize it or not. That's the only thing, like, I agree with, but I don't know the rest of the story. They said that he was coming off as creepy.
Yeah, I guess the way it was done, it was like, hey, you could have at least, because for all we know, it could have came off like, hey, is he trying to get skirt pics or da 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 da? Like, can you at least ask us to take a photo? Well, like, maybe I guess it was more of that type of thing.
Mhm.
Where it's like, it could have been, like you said, it could have been handled a lot better. Probably, like, you could have just maybe asked for the photos and da da da.
I think that maybe he was taking photos of them while they were eating or something, or fixing their cosplay. Maybe. Could.
Yeah.
I'd get pissed off if you took a photo of me and I'm
Candid
shoving
photos
food
or
down my
something.
throat.
Yeah,
You're just sitting there with like a burrito in your mouth.
Yeah, it's like a big pet peeve.
You're just trying to like consume something before you pass out. Or you're like heaving or having a panic attack or something like that, and somebody just takes your picture.
Yeah. Because in wrestling, they say Booker T, nicest guy in the world. You can always talk to him, but when he's trying to eat his food, he's trying to eat his food.
That's every wrestler.
I've heard that. Yeah.
That's every wrestler. If I walked up to you right now and you were eating food and I just snapped a picture of you while there was half a slice of pizza in your mouth, you'd get pissed off too.
Yeah.
But he talked about, like, obviously he supports lolicon, the shotacon media, right? Because he believes that people that are pedophiles aren't actually interested in that. They're more interested in like real shit, right? That's not true. There's an argument to be made in a lot of these articles that we've read that it's kind of like it adds to the issue. Or like, if you weren't sure, if you like people that get into it, it's like kind of like how people call weed a gateway drug. Like, could lolicon anime and manga media of depictions of young girls that appear under the age of 18 be a gateway into a mental disorder of lust for children?
Yeah, there's a lot of things, especially whenever it comes to like pornographic stuff, that there's always like an escalation that'll happen just over time.
I mean, there are many states that consider lolicon illegal. You don't interrupt Booker T's Cracker Barrel time, his words. I've only ever been to Cracker Barrel once in my entire life. It's literally just redneck Waffle House.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
I thought Waffle House was redneck Waffle House.
Waffle House is ghetto drunk, hold my earrings Waffle House.
I gotta go. I go there like every time we have a show, or they take us every time we go to a show. That's like our end of the night meal.
That's right. They leave the show to go to Waffle House to catch a show.
Pretty much.
Because there's all kinds of shit that happens. And the Waffle House employees are sassy as fuck. Feisty.
They're ready to throw chairs.
That's right. They're ready to that chick parried a chair like in Street Fighter Third Strike. She just But like I've been to Waffle House. I've seen guys roll into the Waffle House. The guy had no tire on the rim. No tire. First thing he did as soon as he rolled into the parking lot, got out and went inside and grabbed some waffles. Didn't even bother to change the tire.
That's a lot of work to do on an empty stomach.
I don't think he changed it at all. I think there was somebody, a chick just drunk, passed out on the floor. Nobody fucking messed with her. Nobody touched her. They just left her there on the parking lot. Everybody's inside, waffles in their mouths. Like, is she okay? She'll be fine. We can see her from here. I guess that's the. It's funny. Missy's in the background,
passed out on the floor,
just crawling around.
You're not as sneaky as you think you are. You've been spotted, by the way.
You froze, and so there's just like in the show now, it just froze when she was like crawling back to the couch, ass first. So now that she'll be in the internet forever. She's giving off like raccoon vibes.
Excellent.
So I mean, the Ministry of Otaku thing is something that I've been meaning to talk about because I've not really fully addressed the interview. Will I bring Ministry of Otaku back to the show for a follow-up interview? I don't know. I want to say no, but I honestly don't know. Because I feel like Ministry of Otaku, the controversy there isn't over. Now, could we talk about it in a later episode? Yeah, because maybe they do something and they get banned from certain cons, right? There are a lot of people banned from a lot of cons. And there are people that own conventions that are assholes that want to come to Texas. Like the cop guy, I'm not going to say his full name. It could be anybody, right? I'm just going to say cop, but that guy's trying to get into the Texas market. And there are police reports made public about him, about sexual assault misconduct against him. And he's a con owner. Now, like I said, these are actual public police reports. So it's not a matter of rumor or innuendo. This is not a he said, she said. This is not somebody making false allegations or accusations, right? These are actual police reports that you can read.
Got the legal documentation and everything.
That was made public. So there were police reports filed against this individual. Now, when we did the podcast episode on uh jackass, Chomo, Captain Chomo.
Mm.
We said his name on the first episode, but after that we never said his name in case there were legal case there was legal ramifications, right? Which there definitely should be. Um, so we can be talking about anyone, but we saw proof. I saw actual proof, as the kids say, receipts of the text messages with his phone number registered. That was the proof I needed. There were people defending Chomo.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe you let him on. Like, what were you doing? What were you wearing? What were you saying to him? Does it fucking matter? The person was 14.
Yeah, people need to realize that, you know, they're not at an old enough age to where they can properly just make a decision on what's going on or not. They don't really know what's happening.
There was a staff member. They're long gone from the community for a lot of conventions. Not in Texas. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But I know they were a staff member for a lot of conventions somewhere in the United States. That's not naming the state. But there was a lot of belief that this person was grooming a underage child.
Mm.
This person lied about this person, whenever we would ask them their age, they would purposely avoid the question. They would purposely avoid the question and tried to come off as younger than they actually appeared, because they were friends, a little too friendly with somebody they claimed was 16 at the time. Turns out this person was my fucking age at the time, and the individual they were talking to was 14.
Oh, he was. So they were. So they were trying to. Okay, it wasn't the other way around. Okay, that was. Oh, that's weird.
So he, um, like, I thought it was kind of weird that I'm like, why are you so friendly with this person? Like, they're like 16, right? And I'm like, aren't you like almost my age though? Aren't you like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm definitely way younger than you, because I was 25 at the time. I was like, how old are you? Oh, well, that doesn't matter. I'm like,
Kind of sounds like it matters.
yeah. And they pretty much made all of our friends in our social circle like kind of turn against me, because they were telling everybody, oh, Jesse talked so much shit about you. He said this about you. He said that about you. He said he called you an asshole. He called you a bitch. He called you this. He called you that. And he told my ex at the time that I was cheating on her, which I wasn't. We went to a party and he was flirting with this girl there. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm definitely the prettiest one in the group. And she's like, no, you aren't. Like, he's more attractive than you are. And she pointed at me and he got mad. So he told my ex, who was my partner at the time, that I was cheating on her. And she broke up with me because she didn't even like talk to me about it. She didn't ask me any questions. She found out he lied about the whole thing, and he like assaulted her as well.
Oh, that's just a piece of shit.
Damn.
He is a piece of shit. Like, I've seen him in public. I didn't have any proof or evidence. I couldn't do anything about it. They obviously hate my guts. They've stolen $200 out of my bank account because I gave them my debit card and my PIN to buy alcohol. They came back with like $60 of alcohol, but $250 was missing from my account.
Damn.
So this person was dating a semi-popular cosplayer in the community, and this person like excommunicated everyone. They stopped talking to everyone. She was a really attractive girl. She was of age. She was definitely closer to my age when these two were dating. But when I saw her, man, she had lost like 40, 30 pounds, and she was already like pretty small.
Oh shit.
Like she was under 100, definitely under 100. Like,
And you say that they like
and I
just
was like, we
completely
were
broke.
wondering, like, is she eating anything or is she starving herself? Because she didn't look the same. And it turns out he was starving her.
That's fucked up.
And mistreating her, and like it was bad, bro. Like we
And
didn't find
isolating
out
her,
any of it.
and
Yeah.
very
We,
cult leader mentality.
yeah, because he like accused me of stealing his shit from his room. Like he came, like I came over to hang out, and he has like a lot of gothic crap, like a lot of gothic crap. And I have nothing against goth or the style or anything. I call everything crap. So before anybody gets offended, like whenever I buy Dragon Ball Z shit, the joke is I bought more Goku shit. I bought more Goku crap, right? I bought more Power Rangers crap. I call everything crap. To me, everything is crap because we don't need any of it. We want it. We don't need it. So he has like these big fucking gothic vampire, like Jesus Christ. If you're going to fool around with somebody, make sure you take them off. And he's like, somebody stole my stuff out of my room. I'm like, oh, bro, that sucks. And he was trying to insinuate that I stole his shit. And I was like, I didn't want to say anything, but I could tell he was trying to like, they just need to confess because I got cameras all over the place. If you got cameras, then you should already know who took your shit.
Yeah.
And I wanted to tell him, if you have cameras, then you should, and you think it was me, then you should probably already know that it was me. But I'm not taking your shit. For first off, hot topic, your shit is cheap. Secondly, I'm not into that crap. Third, there's green around your finger, so it's fake. And I got fucking mad. And like it was weird that he had such a like close relationship with this underage person, and I started to suspect they were around my age. For one, like I kept asking him, "Hey, are you Are you like Latino? Are you Mexican?" He's like, "No, I'm not. I'm like our bloodline comes from royalty. Like we come from royalty." Motherfucker was browner and more Mexican than I was. And his parents only spoke Spanish. I don't know if he was Mexican, but like his last name was not the last name. Like his clan, his last name, the clan's last name was not of royalty. It was actually the last name of a clan that was pronounced as traitors. And so we found out years later that they sexually assaulted that minor they were constantly communicating with. Because at that point, I hadn't even spoken to them in 5 years. Or no, not 5 years. I hadn't spoken to them. Like when they did that, I hadn't spoken to them for like a year. Right. And when he assaulted that individual, they were 14 at the time. So they might have been 13 when he started talking to them, 12 or 13. And I actually didn't think about it until just now. Like, holy shit, he knew her for a while. And then he assaulted her after I fucking cut ties with him. So did he start grooming her at 12 or 13?
I mean, at this point, say. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
And there's other cosplayers. Like, let's we've talked about this before. There was a cosplayer who was a teacher that lost their teaching license. They got fired. They went to jail for grooming their students. There's a group. There's a cosplayer who cosplays. I'm not gonna. Okay, I was gonna start sharing like little bits of information, so maybe I could figure out who it was, but I'm not gonna do that because for one, there's some drama going on in the community right now. If you know, you know. Uh, let me put in our private chat who it is.
Mm.
So they're known particularly for that one cosplay that they always do. So there's a rumor going around that they groomed their ex partner because they started talking 2 years ago, at least 2 years ago, right? And the partner currently is 20, and they're my age, or at least a year younger, and I'm 36. So 2 years ago, they were probably 33. Now you're probably thinking, well, they're 18, right? That is the age of consent. They're legally an adult. They can make their own decisions. But there is a rumor
Legally.
going on that he met them younger than 18. Now, grooming is not just for people that are under 18. You can groom somebody that's 18. Like this, their partner's bank accounts, everything was registered to this person on their phone, their email. They were controlling like who they were friends with, who they talked to, who they hung out with. They were with them all the time. They never let them go anywhere by themselves. So in a sense, somebody told me that sounds like fucking grooming. That does sound like grooming. That is grooming. And it didn't occur to me that you could groom somebody under the age that was 18 or 19. I was like, what the fuck? Because people talk about like, oh, 18's an adult. To me, 18's not really an adult. You're still 18 still has the word teen in it. 19 still has the word teen in it. I mean, I don't know what your age preferences are. Legally, a 40-year-old could get with a 20-year-old. Is it acceptable? That's up to you to decide. That's up to the consenting adults to decide. I could give my personal opinion on the matter, but I want to avoid like an argument over it. But so there are some so the point is this person had other friends. They would constantly preach 17 is the age of consent. You know how fucking often you hear that in the cosplay community?
A lot.
A lot. Like a fuck ton. And I always argue, no, the fuck it isn't. And somebody said it. Age of 17 is the age of consent based off of the Romeo-Juliet law placed in Texas, as long as the individual they are in a relationship with is prior to them, like to the other individual turning 18, and it was established while they were in high school. The law was created to protect high school students, not grown-ass adults wearing fucking costumes at a convention that see somebody that's under the age of 18. Like, you could make an argument for an 18-year-old. You could, because they're legally an adult. But 17, you need to fuck off. I don't care what people say. I don't agree with the 17-year-old thing. That's fucked up. Even it's still illegal anyway. If the parents catch you messing around with their 17-year-old, they could have your ass thrown in prison. Because legally, they are not an adult. Just because they can get into a rated R movie doesn't mean shit.
Seems a little weird to have that little tidbit ready to go. It's like, oh, 17's consent. Like, sounds like they're ready. Like
Yeah,
they've said
like-
that several times.
They had the defense ready to go. They were like, okay, yeah, if I say this, it'll get them to leave me alone. I'm like, fuck no, you better not bring that fuck. First off, don't do it. Secondly, don't bring that fucking person to my room. I don't want them here. I don't care. We're just friends. I don't go, fuck. You got to let me 21 and up only. We got alcohol. Now, we try to check IDs at the parties. Do people slip sometimes? Yeah, because they have fake fucking IDs. Like, do we know how to tell the difference between a real ID and a fake ID? I do. If you have the older ID, if you look at the back where it says direction, the I is not dotted. It's on the back of the ID. It's the older before they changed the style recently. If you have the older one, if you look at the back, it's a
I'm gonna go
Texas
get my
ID.
ID.
If you look at the back of the ID, it's directive. It's the first word. It says directive to physician has been filed at so that part right there. If you look at the I of the identification, it is not dotted. Now, you will probably make the argument, well, that's probably how it's printed. That's probably how the machine makes the I's. It doesn't dot them. That's not true. In the back of the ID, all the other words with I's are dotted. So if you have the older ID, you look at directive, it's not dotted. And every other word with an I in it, the I's are dotted.
Well, I'll be damned. I didn't
That's
never
why
notice that.
when cops check your ID, they check you ever notice they check the back? Did you ever wonder? Like, no one's ever wondered why. Cops will look
Assume
at
they
an
would check
ID.
if I was an organ donor or something.
Oh yeah, calm down, super bad. They would check the back of the ID. How did I learn this? Because when I worked at GameStop, the cop that would hang out, we always got him like, we always hooked up the cop at our job. Like, hey man, Wii's are in stock, PS3s are in stock. Do you want us to hold one for you? Hey, this new game came out. We gave him like 10%, 15%, 20% off everything in the store. We hooked him up, and he would, like, whenever we had our big midnight releases, like Halo 3, which was a huge one, he stuck around. He helped us out. He's like, hey, like, do you want me to teach you how to tell if an ID is fake or not? And he showed us that.
Yeah, because I remember, and this was at Comic Palooza a while back. Because it's one of my security friends at work. One of my friends who does security, but he also has friends of his own who does security. His coworkers. There was like this guy in a line with us. We were waiting for the burlesque show, I think. We were getting closer into it, and this guy came up to us who told us like he was already having like a weird day. He lost a $300 lightsaber. I was like, holy shit! I didn't know it cost that much. Yeah, I know. I didn't know they could cost that much. And then, yeah, and then he said, no, it's fine. I'll look for it. Da, da, da. So he goes in the line. They check for his ID. Now, they have to describe this. It was like a nice young like black dude with dreads, and he was like, he saw his ID. He pulled out a piece of paper because I guess he didn't have his ID or anything. So we just pull out a piece of paper because he's looking for that too. And he's like, he turned to this white dude, this white cop or whatever. This guy, he's like, hey, are we taking these? And the dude said, no, we're not taking them. We're not taking them. And he had an argument with the guy. He's like, no, I can't. What are we even taking them? No, we need a proof form of ID that's the task passing in the bar. He said, this has been accepted in a bar. He said, well, not here. They let them use it yesterday when I used it tonight. And I didn't realize because I was like, I've seen people with the paper IDs before, and my coworker told me, no, you can fake those. You can print those up if you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can make the fake paper. That's why we're not supposed to be taken. I was like, oh, okay.
Right. So sometimes what they'll do, if you have a picture of your ID on your phone and you have the paper ID and the information matches, they could accept that. But businesses do have the right to refuse service to anyone they want. And the paper ID they're not legally required to accept you as a patron just because you have a state issue ID that's on a sheet of paper. They can refuse, any business can refuse service to anyone they want.
Okay.
Public businesses like public libraries, government owned, post offices, courts, they cannot refuse business to anyone. They have to service everyone. But privately owned businesses that are not government controlled or funded can refuse business to anyone that they don't want to do business with. Like, you remember when the whole controversy thing about the cake, when when the gay couple went in and asked for a wedding cake, and like the cake maker like refused to make him the cake.
yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Remember that? They have the right to refuse that, right? They're stupid though. I would have made them the fucking cake. Money is money. I don't give a fuck who you're sleeping with. That's a $200 cake. Like, I will put whatever the fuck you want, a dick shaped cake. I will make that dick shaped cake. I don't give a fuck. I'm too poor, broke, and brown skinned to discriminate against anybody. But yes, any business can refuse business towards anyone that they want. And it's up to the business to like, hey, we're not going to take this ID because it looks like bullshit, right? It looks like you printed it out at the public library. Like, there's no way. You look like you just crawled out of elementary school and the ID says you're 21.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, do you have an actual ID? Let me see. That's why some people ask you to take the ID out of your wallet. Because they'll, like, the newer IDs, though, do no longer have that. So the newer IDs, they no longer have the first I not dotted. It's all dotted now. So Fart Knocker, you probably have a newer ID. They have a new way of detecting fake IDs, but the newer IDs have the I dotted.
So
The older IDs do not. And I think you're older than me, right? So you definitely have to I believe you're older than me, and my ID, I have to renew it next year. So you probably already have a newer ID. But if you have one of your older IDs, yeah, the I on the back is the I on the back is not dotted.
So mine was different because like it was not. It was just weird because like I remember it was like a few years ago when UFC came to town and we went to go do a meet and greet, see Dana White at this bar, and I just got my ID like a month or two prior, and it was one of the. I believe I was still kind of one of the old ones because my ID was vertical, whereas the new ones were horizontal or whatever. It looks like the new ones were like basically looks like a convention badge, pretty much type of thing. Well, mine was vertical still, and the guy who was looking at it, he looked at my ID, he looked at me, and he was like, "All right, okay, you can come in. All right." Like he looked at it for like a little bit, like a good 10 seconds, like okay, because it was like I still had one of the old ones still, and he had
Right. So
yeah.
that ID, they print the ID. So once you hit 21,
Yep.
you have it horizontal. But if you're under 21, they do them vertical. It's supposed to be a dead giveaway that you're under the age of 21. So that's why they stare at it a little longer.
I think I just barely turned 21, and they just still giving it to me vertical. That's probably what happened. Which I'm probably gonna need to get it up there in like a few years anyway. So
Yeah, you're gonna have to go back and take like a new picture and shit, and
Mhm.
they're gonna give it to you horizontal next time. So
yeah, like right now I have the one where it's like if they wanted to, they can look at their wallet. They can look at my wallet and not have to turn their head sideways. They can just look at it regularly.
sure. Like, when were you thinking? Like today? Because today's episode is actually about to come to an end. I gotta hit the gym, so it ends at 9. But send me a message on Instagram, and we can have you on the show. We're a what the fuck kind of podcast are we? This is a for the people, by the people kind of podcast, public service. Like we're like PVS, except I don't say this program is brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. I don't say that shit because nobody's donating.
Yeah.
Actually, some people do donate, so thank you.
Like no one's paying me to say that.
Yeah, nobody's paying me to say shit around here. Yeah, so do you need my Instagram? Let me know if you need it. Do you have it? I know there's a delay, so but to kind of I mean, like, what con was it? It was definitely Delta. I'm sorry if anybody from Delta is watching, but somebody threw a room party and there was a bunch of 19-year-olds sitting in a circle next to the alcohol, and a few of them had alcoholic drinks. Nobody was checking ID. Nobody's doing shit, right? Nobody's checking anything, and that shit like like kind of made me feel fucking weird. Because at the time, I think I was like 30. And I was like, yeah, my kid definitely wasn't born yet. So I think I was 30. No, it's not abandoned. It's not gone. It's just that we're not going to do it for a while. Ever since the Chomo episode, we kind of did away with it for a little bit because it's a joke. We don't bring it out during the serious topics, and like this one is kind of semi-serious, but we're gonna bring it back probably next week. But the cuss counter is only on the Monday shows. The Wednesday shows are different, right? Because I can't stop y'all from cussing. I can't stop the guests from cussing. If Clint wants to say fuck, he can say fuck.
Because I was about to ask, does that counter count for me, or is that just
No,
you?
it's a running joke for just me because I'm supposed to
Okay.
stop cussing. I can't stop you, but I'm supposed to stop.
Yeah, fuck that.
If here, as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and where is it? I kind of lost it. There you go. I updated it. Just, what the hell? Well, okay, hold on.
Like that escalated quickly.
Yeah. So no, it's definitely still around, but it's mostly for the Monday show because the Wednesday show, when we started the cuss counter, we only had the Monday show, and the Wednesday show started because of the incident in Colossal Con. Like when we started getting like reports and stories and stuff like that we couldn't address on the regular like it happened. We already did our Monday podcast, and then shit happened, and then we had to talk about it. So we started doing the Wednesday episode. The Wednesday episode was never meant to be a permanent episode, but it kind of like just like how we were never meant to become a convention review channel, but now we are. Which Your Highness is going to be at Anime Houston, and he definitely needs to come on the episode to review Anime Houston.
Yes, I will.
You know, spread all the tea, talk all the shit.
Pretty much. I have a panel scheduled at 2 on Friday, which is reconstructing cons, which is how we can make conventions better. And I'm like, it's their dealer's room doesn't open till 4, so I'm like, I'm hoping I get a decent enough crowd.
Wait, what? 4 when? Friday?
I think. Let me check the schedule. Let me see. Yeah, I'm sorry. Never mind. Their vendor hall starts at. No. Okay, never mind. Their vendor hall starts at 2. Okay. So hopefully, so I should. So, I'm sorry. Opening ceremony doesn't start till 4. That's so weird.
I can't believe people still do opening ceremonies.
I've never been to one, or a closing one for that matter.
That was the only con I've ever done closing and opening ceremonies to, because it's in that space. Like you're pretty much stuck next to it if you're not in the dealer's room.
Right, exactly, because they had the main stage out in the hall, like the main lobby, the hallway, and like me, Your Highness, and a bunch of other people were just like, because they had tables set up so you could just sit and chill.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we lost a subscriber with today's episode.
Oof.
Like I said, it doesn't bother me if we lose a subscriber here or there, because it obviously proves that there are issues with the community people don't want to address. They don't want to acknowledge, address. They don't want to admit that it's a problem, right? Because it's an anime community. It's anime, right? It's Japan. They can do no wrong, despite the fucking fact that they had to make an app for girls. If they're being sexually assaulted on a fucking train, they can use the app as an alert for
I'm
help.
gonna go ahead and say sorry about that. I made you lose a subscriber.
Oh no, it's fine.
I'll take the blame on it.
No, it's fine. I
It's me
admit
and my
that
slow internet.
it's because I'm talking about lolicon, and people fucking love lolicon, and like there's 2 different types of lolicon: the girls that look young, and then there are girls that are young. An argument could be made for the people that like the young looking girls, but they're older, oh, this girl's definitely 1,000 years, but she ages 1 year every 100, right? Are but there are some where the purposely leave out the age of the individual. They never say their age, they leave it out, they never hint at it, but you can tell.
Sounds a lot like that guy you were talking about earlier. How old's this character? What?
Huh? Yeah.
Not
No,
important.
we asked how old he was,
Yeah.
how old he was, and then he lied about the person who he was talking to. Like, oh, she's 16, and how old are you, bro? Like, oh, that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
I'm like, because at the time I thought, okay, so it's become clearer now. I was working at a hotel, and they would come to the hotel, and like at the time I was obsessed with chicken sandwiches from Jack in the Box, so they'd always bring me like a couple chicken sandwiches. And when they were there one day, they made racist jokes. Um, and it involved the chicken sandwich. I'm not gonna get into it. And I'm like, so at the time, I believe I was 21 because I was a front desk. I was a front desk agent, right? I checked you into the hotel. I got you whatever you needed, right?
Oh, okay.
So when I worked for that hotel twice, I worked for them for a while when I was 19. I was a bellhop. I would drive the shuttle. I would drive people wherever they wanted to go, where they needed to go. And they drug tested me. They did the little mouth swab to make sure, I didn't have any drugs in my system or alcohol. And the guy's like, you're underage anyway, so you shouldn't be drinking. I was like, yeah, that's true. And then they let me go because Hurricane Ike hit and it fucked up the hotel. The hotel had a shit ton of water damage.
This is in Houston, right?
This was in Houston.
Okay.
And this is the Sheraton Brook Hollow off of 290 and 610 that I used to
okay.
work for.
Okay, you were Sheraton. Okay, because my mom, she was Marriott in like downtown, with the one that's like it's technically two hotel. It's two hotels, but it looks like it's the same one. The Residence Inn and the other part of it, but the one that's by McDonald's in it by HPD.
This one is near where Northwest Mall is, the abandoned mall. It's like right there where 290 and 610 connect.
Okay.
And Northwest side.
Because we were okay, and they let us spend the night there for 2 weeks. But you said yours was like, you said y'all had like water damage for y'all?
Oh yeah, the lobby was flooded with water.
Ooh.
The lobby was flooded with water. The water got into the hotel rooms to the windows. We were transferring people to other hotels. They let me stay there for a few days for free because I helped out. I worked 48 hours straight. Like I would take a 30-minute nap every now and then, but at that point I didn't even wear a uniform because the lobby was filled with so much water. It was like knee high.
Oof.
And so once we were done, once everybody was out, I went home. A few weeks later, they let me go because they were going to have to renovate the entire hotel, and they pretty much let all the staff go so they could seek employment somewhere else because it was going to be a long time before. So about a year later, they called me back, and a little bit over a year, but they called me back to come apply again to work there. And at the time, I had just turned 21. And that's when I knew this guy. I met him recently because he had heard of me, and he's like, oh, you're that guy that people talk shit about. Because apparently, like at the time, I was like pissing a lot of people off because the cosplay community, like the higher, like the more popular cosplayers, not all of them, but a few of them were very high. They had a very high, stupid hierarchy. And it was the dumbest fucking thing I'd ever heard of. And I said, fuck that shit. Fuck their rules. I'm not because I was a cosplay guest for a con, and like the head cosplay guest was trying to dictate who I gave my fucking award to. And I told her to eat shit. I literally told her, fuck you. Fuck your cosplay. I don't know. Like, eat shit because I'm going to give my award to whoever the fuck I want. because I wanted to give it to this Han Solo and Leia cosplaying couple because they did the characters so well. Like they were so great. The guy was a dick, and I loved it because he was a dick like Han Solo. He's like, bro, I love your fucking cosplay. I know. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, fuck
Perfect.
you, perfect. It's perfect. They're store bought. It's a judge's award, not a craftsmanship. I'm gonna give it to them,
Yeah.
and we got into a big fucking argument about it. And I'm like, fine. And they're like, well, we were thinking about these people should get it. I'm like, I'm not giving it to that fucking. I don't even know who the fuck that is. I'm gonna give it to this priest guy because first off, he made the fucking props, and that thing it was a big old cross stick that was actually pretty. It was made from like actual like fucking sticks from like a fucking tree and shit. It was fucking badass. And so, like, I gave him my award, and then they wanted to give. I did suggest my friend win an award, but he was heavy metal Chris. He actually made the metal plating armor and the Gatling gun that was battery operated. The Gatling gun weighed 80 pounds.
Holy
Dang.
shit. 80 pounds.
That's a lot to carry around.
Because it was
Yeah.
real wood, mechanical working parts, and it had metal parts to it. And the cosplay, the armor was metal, actual metal. So it's like, we should give him something because he made all of it. And he, like, cut the metal plating and everything. So they gave him best prop, like craftsmanship, which was like the second biggest award next to best in show. And I had no say in who won the best in show because they didn't like the fact on who I suggested. I'm like, it has to go to us. I'm like, the skits were to me, the skits were better than the walk-ons because a lot of people made, but they gave it to a walk-on. Oh, but they made everything. Yeah, so did the skit guy. So after that interaction, I got put on a lot of people's shit list because I told that person, like, look, you're not gonna fucking tell me who I can pick. I'm gonna pick who I want for my judges award. And I don't like, and they picked a lot of their fucking friends. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck these people are. I don't know who their characters are. And then, like, the way I do judging is that, okay, I want you to tell me about your cosplay. What did you work on? What did you make? I want you to tell me about everything you've done while in character.
Ooh, that's a cool twist.
So you had to introduce yourself in character and talk about how you made your cosplay in character. And like half the people in that competition couldn't do the character. Like a handful of them didn't even know who they were dressed up as. They're like, well, what if they had somebody make them the cosplay? No, they made the cosplay because they told me to my face they made the cosplay. They just didn't know who the character was. And I was like, yeah, I'm not giving. I'm like, because we were at that point, I was trying to pick who I was going to give my judges award to. And that's why I chose Han and Leia, because Han's character was like so fucking good. Like, I'm not going to tell you anything because first off, there's only one Han Solo and you're looking right at him. And I was like, dude, you're such a fucking dickhead. I fucking love it. Like, he was a great character. And I think like that's 50% of cosplays being the character that you are dressed up as. And I just ruffled a lot of feathers. Could have I approached it differently? Sure have. I could have approached it very differently. But at the time I was 21. So at that point I was just like, fuck it.
Especially when someone's like, no, this is how you're going to do your award. That's
that type shit.
That is not the case anymore. Like, we've won an award from, I know he's a very controversial cosplayer, but we won an award from Leon Chiro because we did the Ninja Turtles. First off, I will admit my Ninja Turtle cosplay is not really that great, but I've worn it to a few hospitals to visit children, and I explained that to them because they asked me, why did you make the Ninja Turtle cosplay like mascotty instead of more realistic like in the movies? I was like, oh, that's easy. It's because whenever you visit children in the hospital, if it looks more like a mascot than realistic, it's child friendlier. It's more approachable. And since the children in the hospital are smaller, like, because the kid that I met was 3 years old and he had open heart surgery, and his room was covered in Ninja Turtle shit though. So that's what made me realize that mascot cosplay is better for children than like at the time,
Realistic.
right? Because it's much more approachable if you're 2 or 3, right? Because the little kid was scared of me at first, but then he like opened up to me and he wanted me to carry him because it was a Ninja Turtle. Like what his reaction was, what the fuck are you doing outside of the TV? Right. And like that, Leon told me that story is what moved him to give me his Judges Award. He's like, it's not the cosplay, it's not the character, it's what you did. Like that made me realize I'm going to give you my Judges Award. So this was a long time after though that I did mine. So that's why I think that my reaction to that individual was not wrong. Like, hey, this is my award. I'm going to give it to the person I believe deserves it. Because in all honesty, the Ninja Turtle cosplays don't deserve an award. They weren't that well put together. But like, I like doing, like, I donated my hair to charity. That's why I had long hair a few months ago. Now it's growing back. I donate my hair. I do charities during the Thanksgiving. I do the Thanksgiving where I used to go to the George R. Brown and do it, but they have different ones now that I do. But you would go to the George R. Brown and they'd give you a shift and they'd give you a job and you were there to help feed the homeless. It was kind of like a full-time job for a single day, right? You would have some task and you would do what it took to help and you would feed the people that were starving, like, people that are homeless on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I do shit like that. I don't really I don't do it for the credit, right? Because I don't really give a fuck about the credit. Like, oh, you do this, you do that. I don't really talk about it a lot either because people I like doing that stuff to help. It's kind of the reason why I bought everyone $200 worth of McDonald's Saturday at Delta. Like, and people walked in, I'm like, did you eat? The first thing I would ask somebody as soon as they walked in my room, and Your Highness was there, did you eat?
Holy shit, that was $200 worth?
It was 180.
I thought it was like maybe 30 or 40 max.
No, it was, dude, there was like 70 burgers.
Bro, you gotta realize in my head, like a burger, because I forgot you had burgers and
chicken
McChicken.
sandwiches, and I bought, like, some people were picky, so I had to get the chicken nuggets. And somebody wanted a meal. Remember, SJ wanted a meal.
Oh, okay.
She was being picky, so I got her the stupid meal. And then one other person wanted the chicken nuggets, so I got the chicken nuggets as well. But I ordered it was 35 burgers and hot and spices. It was a lot. Like, oh well, McDonald's isn't like the best thing to eat. Like, look, when you go an entire convention, you probably haven't eaten all day. So whatever you can get your hands on food wise, that's important.
Oh yeah, because Friday, gotta really save up my energy. But no,
that's right. This coming weekend is Anime Houston back at the original location, the OG location near the Bush Intercontinental Airport. If you haven't already bought your badges for Anime Houston, you can go to animehouston.com right now and get your badges. Make sure you check out Your Highness's panels. Check out Chad's Jazz at the Con panel. Geeks 5 will not be at Anime Houston. We have other commitments. We will be at the Texas Renaissance Festival campgrounds this weekend, setting up our campsite because we have the Diamond Pass, which costs way too much fucking money, and I'm very pissed that it cost that much money. It was $877 with some change.
Don't you? But I thought you. Well, didn't they give you I thought you said on the last podcast that didn't they give you like a press badge or something like that for it?
So the press passes aren't for every weekend. They're for But so if we want, so they used to sell the camp. So that would have been a lot easier. They used to sell the camping pass individually for $600. And the camping pass allows you to get into the campgrounds and set up your tent. You can set up your tent, your RV, whatever you have, and leave it there all season. You set it up before the Renaissance starts to pick the location you want, and then you can break it down like a week or two after the show ends. So you don't have to take everything home right away. It's an incentive instead of having to carry your tent and shit there every weekend and set up and trying to find a good spot. So we do that. We get a good spot. So they did away with the individual camping passes this year, and you have to buy the Diamond Pass if you want to camp. The Diamond Pass includes the season pass for the fair for every weekend, every Saturday and Sunday, and the final weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I don't honestly give enough of a shit of the actual Renaissance Festival fairgrounds itself. To me, it's a glorified outdoor mall where people dress like their great grandparents. I care more about the campgrounds because the campgrounds is like a party environment, right? I go there to have fun and chill and be stupid. But in order to do the campground, I had to get the fucking Diamond Pass, and that bitch was $877. It was, I don't know the exact amount, but I know it was like 876 or 877. I think I might have rounded up the number to
I
like.
remember when I looked it up, it was right at 8 before tax or whatever else after that.
It's 800 before taxes. Texas Roundhouse. I type in Texas, and the Roundhouse came up. Let's see, season passes. Because like so the way it used to work for Renaissance is that you could, if you bought a pass for the Texas Renaissance Festival, if you just wanted to enjoy the campgrounds, you bought one pass for the camp, and you would just use that every single time because you can't get inside the campgrounds without a ticket to the Renaissance Fair. So you would buy one ticket into the fair and use that all season. But they made them date specific now. So it's $877.02. That's 800. There's a facility fee of $2.50. The sales tax is $41.21. Credit card fee is $25.31. Membership fee is $8.
Damn, Jesse, these DreamCon hotel price previews are fucking ridiculous.
I know, right? Like fucking anime Matsuri.
I'll bring you some McDonald's when I come out there.
Fuck yeah. And like Clint and them, everyone is invited to come hang out. You can stay in my tent. We have a 20-person tent. Like we have, and the bitch is huge. I think the bag weighs almost 50 pounds with the tent in it.
I don't doubt it. It looked huge in that picture.
I might be exaggerating just a tad bit because when I picked it up, I was still really sore and tired from working out. Let me see. All right, let me show you, and then we're gonna go ahead and end it right there. This is the tent. That's how much it fucking costs before taxes.
Oof.
Got more bedrooms than most people's first apartments.
I think it's the size of some people's first apartments. Sleeps up to 20 people in sleeping bags. Spacious interior fits 6 queen air mattresses.
Got mine on the way. Should be here by the end of the week, I think.
Holy shit, it does weigh 50 pounds. Shit. Because it was a heavy bag.
That's like the weight of a suitcase you can have on a plane. Actually, I think it might be double.
Yeah. Assembled product weight 49.5 pounds. I originally wanted this motherfucker right here. That looks like a house.
I was gonna say that looks like my house. Damn.
That one's nice. It's fancy. That is a 12-person tent, though.
They're writing about tree fitting.
Tree fit.
Oh, but it's huge. Look at that.
I don't know. It says 12 person. The one you got says 20.
That's because mine is Y-shaped. This is like just.
Yeah. A
Where are these-
rectangle.
Where are these tents during that awful fire festival like 6 years ago?
At Walmart.com, or you can save more and shop for less. Oh wait, that's a different company. Walmart's no longer cheap. This one is 65 pounds. Hey, don't be looking at what I'd be buying. Okay, don't be looking at my cart, people.
Got plenty of stuff in there, man.
I can't do fucking s'mores. I'm too drunk half the time to fuck with s'mores. I don't go near fire. But yeah, no, there's eventually I want to buy. This is the original tent. This red one is the original we had. It's a 10-person tent, but I want one of these camping shower tents. This is the tent we be staying in. So if anybody wants to come out and like have, I'm gonna buy a soft ass rug and throw it on the floor. So in case you just show up and you're hammered and you just pass out on the floor, it'll be a comfy floor.
Dang.
Dude, you know what it's like to sleep on the floor at the Renaissance Festival? I bought
Yeah.
a kid's tent once, right? A kid's tent for a full-grown adult is for like one fucking person sardine in there. So it was like $20, and they bought me like an shitty inflatable mattress, a single. And I set it up. I forced the mattress fits perfectly. Kind of had to force it through the door though. And there's this guy. He's drunk off his ass. He's puking and pissing all over the place. And they're gonna throw his ass in jail. And so I'm like, just bring him. Yeah, he's with us. Bring him to our camp. They throw him in my tent, my kid's tent that I was gonna sleep in, and he pisses in my shit. Like he pissed in his sleep. And he wakes up and he's like, he said his name was Peter Parker, and he's apologizing. I'm sorry. Thank you for helping me. I'm sorry. Get the fuck out of here, man. You pissed in my, where am I going to sleep?
Yeah, you saved Spider-Man.
He was not physically Spider-Man. I can tell you that. I don't want to body shame, but he's definitely not Spider-Man's.
He's Peter Parker before the bite.
Yeah, he's Peter Parker, Peter B. Parker, if he just never became Spider-Man again. But yeah. Anyway, so you guys plug in your social medias or your social security cards. I don't care.
Hold on,
So we can go ahead and wrap up. I don't even
Uh,
carry mine. I lost mine.
The only reason I have mine is because I got a passport a couple years ago, so I somehow have it. But I guess the only social I really have or use is Instagram, Mzilla Props. So M dash underscore. I don't know. I haven't had that long.
Let me actually post it, because last time I checked, you only had 3 followers. We got to get you the followers. Let's see, because you have Mulletzilla.
Mm-hmm.
Mulletzilla.
That's right.
Here it is. You have 8 followers.
Dang, skyrocketed.
That's right. So make sure you give him a follow. He is now an award-winning cosplay maker.
True.
But make sure you ask people to also follow our YouTube channel, because we lost 2 subscribers because we pissed them off.
If you do it, you'll get a free hat. Might not be a good hat.
I'm not giving away one of my hats.
Might be a homeless guy's hat. We'll just say it's Luffy's hat.
We'll give you this.
Dang.
He doesn't have the shield, so he's not really worth much. It's actually super light. It's a White Ranger, Power Ranger, the 8-inch figure, but it doesn't have his tiger shield, so he's not worth a lot. I will give you this one. This one also doesn't have the shield. It's a little bit more beat up. Subscribe to the channel and we will give one of these away.
Yes.
All right. So, Your Highness, plug in your panels and plug in your social.
All right. Come see me at Anime Houston this weekend. I will be doing reconstructing anime cons from 2 to 3 on Friday. And on Saturday night, I'll be doing crazy con stories from 9:30 to 10:30. Guys, follow me on Facebook and Instagram, YOHYNNES, and then Joseph. And
If somebody can loan me their badge, I'll show up and share some stories.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But
All right,
yeah, definitely.
I'll ask around and see if we can make that fucking happen. Hell yeah.
Make it happen, Cam. All right, guys. If you haven't already, make sure you follow us on YouTube. Make sure you ring the dingling button so you can be notified every time we go live. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. We are on the road to 1K on both Instagram and YouTube. Got to start making some of that YouTube money so we can. This is now becoming more and more full time. We are working on another podcast, a third one that I have been talking to Mr. Award winning cosplay over here about. But that one is going to be pre recorded. It's not going to be a live one because it'll be a lot. It's going to come out on Saturdays, but because we do conventions and Renaissance shit, it's easier to pre-record it during the week and then have it go live, like upload it all at once. You can watch it at your leisure when it goes up on Saturdays.
Okay.
Because the live shows, obviously, we have to do them live. We're here, we're in person, we're addressing you real time. So that's easier because we do it on Monday and Wednesday. There's really nothing on Mondays and Wednesdays except Monday Night Raw, which I watch the highlight videos after the show. And Wednesday, there's really nothing, right? Except AEW Dynamite. But I once again watch the highlights after the show because they only have one wrestler on there I give a damn about, and it's Ricochet. But that's it. All right, guys, follow us, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll see everybody later. We'll see everybody on Monday as we talk about Anime Houston. Peace.
Later.